Phahame. The Four Living Ones. Tarifa and Andalucia interviews. 27 of June 2019. In the heart of the One, the whole water people, with Phahame, transmit to you all their joy and love. Beloved, as you have experienced and as you know, more and more people are living it, the people of water, and more particularly cetaceans, we accompany you, in your days and nights, and even outside our water territory, our call resonates in each of you, in your nights, as well as in your days. We call you, and we also call you, that you may awaken and come out of the dream, and light what you truly are, beyond any form. We are the guardians of the dream of creation, we are the guardians of the integrity of unity. And every day from now on, and in every circumstance, beyond our territory, we will call you to be true and to be that joy that does not depend on any reason or cause. We know that you are countless, from all over the world, to wake up, to live the end of the dream or nightmare, leading you, as specified, to be life, and no longer only the conditioned life of this form that is only passing through. In countless circumstances, we name and call you, in order to bring you ever closer to the unspeakable truth beyond being. The call of love is becoming more and more urgent, more and more insistent, and we participate, we people of water in our way, in your awakening from the dream, in the living of the truth, in the living of the unspeakable, in the living of love. Our songs resonate from everywhere, not only in our water territory, but also in the highest skies, like in the air you breathe. We are present at each request, as many of you have already seen and lived, simply by calling out my name. Then the veils of the dream dissolve, restoring you a little more each day to the truth of yourself. The end of the dream and the end of the separation are every day a little more evident in your experiences, but also in what happens at the elementary level of the earth. The real and tangible increase in the activity of the elements reached a new level a few days ago. The blood of the earth appears in the open. The expansion phase of the earth itself is in the active phase. Countless signs from us, but also from the whole of the intergalactic confederation that you call the free worlds, will also manifest in you, and not only in your heavens. You will be named and called in countless ways, so that for each of you, there will be a greater and more palpable opportunity each day to wake up and truly life what you have always been. As I said a few months ago, our role as guardians also ends in this apotheosis. I have already told you not to be alarmed by our deaths, whether these deaths are due to human hands or to various accidents. The death for us people of the guardians of the great seas, has no impact on our conscience and on the truth that we live, despite our form. It has been a time since time immemorial that we left the air for water, right here on Eurasia. Entire parts of the illusion of this world, in all its structures and functions, are unfolding at this very moment, in order to bring to light the illusion of dream, its suffering and its distance. Every day, each of you on earth, whatever you think about it and whatever you lived for, always comes as close as possible to the truth. You have been asked, on countless occasions, to ignore what may be going through you at times, that it concerns what you call memories, that it concerns what you call emotions, and sometimes also mental, are there only to be crossed, in order to remain without task at the time of the white paradise. Everything was prepared, long before the creation, and you know it, Ebo told you, Ebo shows you every day. The same is true for each of you. When the veils of the dream begin to tear, to dissolve, you find yourself at times, without any explanation, and by crossing certain states, the discovery of the truth, the discovery of agape, the discovery of the naked love that comes to seize you and delight you in the ecstasy of the truth. This is our song, the people of water, spreading far beyond our, now taking the parts of the primordial ether present in your heavens and present in you. Everything that will happen in each of your lives is only a relief, despite all appearances, despite all that you could analyze or understand, the purpose is always the same, your freedom and the love that you are beyond all being. Every day, we dream with you to wake you up. Every day, we emit our signs within the primordial ether, diffusing to your senses, to your dreams, to your flesh. Everything that can be presented and lived in your current form is now ultimately only a pretext to allow you to discover and live the truth in its entirety, and in its naked truth. The end of the dream, as you know, corresponds to the lived experience of beatitude, of love which does not depend on any circumstance and any setting. This love is totally free and gives you to live within the dream, the very essence of your awakening, and gives you to live within the very dream of creation, the origin and purpose of this dream that has only just passed. In a very short time, you will notice that, whatever the future of your body, of your form, but also of those around you, will be experienced in an increasingly progressive and important way, as something inconsistent, and which ultimately corresponds in reality to the dream. You will then realize, as soon as you approach the white paradise, that all this has only a time, that your life, your form, and your environment and your frame, will scenery added to the dream, according to the circumstances of the dream itself. All the circumstances of your lives, whatever their appearance, whatever their lightness or hardness, are there only to wake you up. We, the people of water, ask you not to be alarmed by anything, not to worry about anything, whatever happens on your ephemeral screen, because just behind it is the unspeakable beauty of naked love. More of you are living it every day, more of you are discovering it every day, more of you are embracing and accepting it every day. This beatitude, or if you prefer this state of grace, this state of agape, puts you as close and just as possible to the truth of who you are. Remember that your life is only a dream, and waking up from this dream, just as you wake up in the morning, you will find that it is less and less overwhelming, less and less painful, and less paralyzing. I repeat once again, whatever the circumstances of your individual lives. Through the primordial ether, the adamantine particles and the good news of zero time spread, not only throughout creation, but of course right here on Eurasia. Simply remember, that in the face of the challenge of your life, linked to this unveiling, whether it is light or heavy, it makes no difference. As soon as you embrace and accept it in your heart, then the truth is just behind and will fill you with the grace of your own gratitude towards who you always have been, who you are, and who you will be. We evidently take advantage of your coming to our, here in this place as well as everywhere, to celebrate with you through our rounds and dances around your boats, the celebration of the finalization of your resurrection, to increase the good news in you, and to spread, in an ever wider way, the good news of the naked love, of the impersonal love of what you call agape. I repeat to you that whatever the circumstances of your lives, it is up to you to decide to accept, to decide to embrace, to decide to cross, without asking you questions, in order to live the grace and the evidence of it, in an increasingly spontaneous way, not responding to any objective set by your conscience, alignment, meditation or prayer or any will. This is called the natural state. This natural state that we people of water have maintained over the millennia, in order to preserve the cradle of the creation of the dream right here on Eurasia. You are more and more numerous every day to wake up, you are more and more numerous to recognize yourself, you are more and more numerous to acquiesce to the truth of the love that you are. Remember that you do not have to fight against anything, that this process is natural, it is your due, it is your gift and it is your truth. No one can ignore, in these days and weeks that will pass on the surface of this earth, the urgency of light in relation to yourselves, the urgency of truth, the urgency of love, beyond all time, beyond all projection and beyond all reticence. We, the people of water, as you have seen here and elsewhere, dance around you. This is for us the way to celebrate your coronation, to celebrate your resurrection, and to celebrate our union and reunion, within that freedom of being and not being. If there are difficult passages in you, concerning your life, concerning emotions, habits or memories, it is important to remember that we are at your side, that we are in you and also, that we are you, in another timeline and in another space line. Thus, every day, the peoples of cetaceans come closer, through the primordial ether, to your consciousness, to your character, to your life. As I said, you can name me, in the same way that we are beginning to name you, in the ephemeral identity that you have on the surface of the dream, on the surface of this world. We will be more and more pressing, more and more present and more enlightening every day, so that no dream can slow you down, so that no obligation of your condition in this world can slow down anything in the unveiling of the truth, in the unveiling of the natural state. As I said, we can only invite you to come as close as possible to the water, in order to be in contact with the primordial ether, and to receive our song of awakening. Do not expect to hear a song through your ears, but rather through your heart, which can only recognize us, which can only recognize itself. You are therefore called, whatever the hardness of your body or your life, your emotions or your habits, to disengage, by the grace of love, from everything that may still seem to obstruct you, to limit your access to this natural state. Water is indeed a privileged conductor of the good news of zero time, via the propagation within the primordial ether, of light. I remind you that the original light knows neither time, nor space, nor even distance. As soon as one of you is awakened, you are countless to wake up, by attunement and resonance, because you can only discover and rediscover the truth of the unspeakable that you are. The water people as a whole, and beyond us cetaceans, are called to spread the good news in all the waters below, whether these waters are those of our, like the water of your rivers, streams, lakes, we will be omnipresent. Our dance around you on the water, this morning or in the previous weeks, is only for your coronation, only for your celebration. This celebration, whose memory is found in the waters below, because we have spread this good news, and you will spread it by your simple presence, within your living environment, within what may still seem hard, difficult or incomprehensible to you. Every day and every night, our call will become more and more urgent, so that you will be countless to embrace with joy and sweetness, the white paradise. All you have to do is look around you on this earth to see, in an increasingly clear and frank way, the current upheaval of the elements, which now affects the whole planet. Do not be alarmed in any way by what the human race, in its misunderstanding and negation, can do in the days and weeks to come, to try to trigger mechanisms of fear, mechanisms of opposition to the cessation of the dream. Just be assertive with water and with us, and the unspeakable will reveal itself to you naturally. You will no longer have the slightest idea or desire to oppose any circumstances whatsoever, because you will see clearly, because you will see the truth beyond appearances and beyond facts, and beyond any causality. Think, you too, to name us, the people of water, simply by pronouncing my name correctly, and I will be immediately revealed inside your heart, and I will be immediately present in your dreams, as in your feelings of your days, in order to lighten the weight of the dream, in order to dissolve it, and in order to fill you with grace, fill you with evidence and fill you with truth. As you know, all the dimensions and all the fleets called intergalactic and galactic, all the forms of creation, are now at the edge of your dimension, not only in your heavens, above your cities, but also as close as possible to you, in order to resonate in a gate with you, in the fire of the Sacred Heart. Your heart is now beating in unison with ours, so don't be alarmed by any apparent abnormalities in your chest, your heart rate, whatever the manifestations. The fire of truth now touches the continent called Europe, thereby signing the access for it, and the provision of the primordial ether in its entirety, and in its ultimate. The activity of men, like the elementary activity, will pass through an additional octave in this month of July, which appears on your calendar. You will only notice, as announced many years ago by the Commander and all the elders, that the more chaos grows, both within the elements and in your life, the freer you will feel, the more you will feel yourself to be what you really are, and the more you will no longer be affected, from the moment you acquiesce in the circumstances of your life. It concerns all the situations in your lives, from the most physical and dense aspect, to the most family, emotional or felt aspects, so that you will be countless, in these coming days, to remember who you are beyond creation and beyond any dream. Then, we people of water, and you people of the surface of the earth, we will merge. We will merge in an increasingly evident and intense way in order to settle together in the space of final resolution of zero time, where only joy is present, where nothing in your world can alter the quality and quantity of that joy. A sense of unreality may grab you, making you wonder if you're awake or if you are sleeping, and what is awake and what is sleeping, what is dreaming and who is screaming. You can only obtain the same result, whatever your questions, and this result will always be agape and the fire of the Sacred Heart. It will unfold in you whatever your last questions, whatever your last doubts, whatever your last fears. Here too, you have nothing to do, nothing to seek, no posture or technique, except to be present to yourselves, to be present at the present moment, to be available to the ultimate injunctions of light. Remember, lightness will take you no matter how heavy your body or life is. Countless miracles will be born, in your bodies as in the circumstances of your lives. You will no longer need explanations, the certainty will become greater and greater, more and more obvious, more and more certain. Whatever your character says, whatever your entourage says, whatever society says, and whatever the majority of the human race says. In the fire of the Sacred Heart, no resistance can be established, no questioning can intervene. Then you will celebrate with us, through your rounds and songs, the glory of the resurrection and the truth of the regained freedom. Everything will be a pretext, within the chaos of the world, to live freedom, to live autonomy, to live joy, which does not depend on any world, any setting or any relationship. You are invited, in these preliminary days, to drop and abandon all the resistance, all the futile questions concerning your lives, in order to discover life, whether it is near the waters, or in nature. More than ever you will notice the difference between the lightness of nature and water, and the density of your human interactions, leading you, whatever you think, to move away from the cities, to settle down in peace. Whatever your occupations, you will indeed need these moments and integration times. You will indeed need to live more intensely the great silence and joy, whatever your character says, whatever the whole society says. Freedom and truth can no longer be accommodated by any compromise or deviation. You will feel it in yourself with firmness, and you will experience it in yourself with more and more certainty and evidence. If you accept and embrace the process that is taking place and will take place, not only in the last days of June, but also in the month of July of your year 2019, you will see that the smile will bloom on your lips, that the brightness of your eyes will change, and that your whole behavior will be more inclined to live in the present moment, rather than any memory or any projection into any future whatsoever. You will notice in yourself, whatever your feelings, a decrease in the frequency of your questions about yourself or your life. You will see mechanisms called hypersynchronicity, or even hyperfluidity, coming every day and at every moment if you embrace it, fill you with grace, fill you with certainties, and, above all, put you in this state of naked love, in this state of agape, which does not depend on any character or any dream. This will inevitably consume the ultimate resistance inscribed within the human collective, through its habits, through its rules, through its laws, as well as through its morals, because love knows no law, no morals and no conditions. It is meant to be free and is free from all contingencies, as well as from all forms, as from the environment in which you are present on the surface of this earth. Remember, besides calling us, it is also enough for you to decide to embrace us after calling us, and you can only see for yourself the effects on your body, the effects on your life, as well as on all aspects of your habits in this world. Remember that there is no effort to be made, but it's precisely the opposite, that is, a relaxation of all effort and attention, as well as of all will, because this is how you make yourself more and more available to live who you are through the dream of this world. In the same way, then becoming bearer of the zero time of the ineffable beauty of truth, you become yourselves, by your simple presence and absence, not only the anchors and diffusers of true light, but also one who will awaken, by your presence, all the brothers and sisters who are around you, but also on the other side of the planet. The testimonies that are given and that will certainly be written or shared among you will be more and more obvious, more and more simple. They will not be accompanied by a description of visions, a description of energy or vibration, but it will be much more a celebration in every circumstance, a celebration of love, a celebration of agape, a celebration of joy, and this even beyond and beyond the privileged moments that you are living when you meet us and when we meet you, in a physical way. As I said, from now on, we go through the primordial ether, the same is true for each of you. Whatever your feelings, whatever your beliefs, whatever your ideas, whatever your thoughts, you can only be in agreement with the truth of the natural state. This will put an end to all density, but also to all pain wherever it is located in your body or in your life. Such is the gift of grace, such is the truth of love, and such is the ineffable beauty of what you are discovering, and which never could have been taken from you, but which simply had been forgotten. You will discover and live that there is no point in judging, that there is no point in condemning, because you will live effectively and concretely from now on, that any external condemnation is only to condemn yourself and to take you away from agape, and will effectively remove you, for a time, from the fire of the Sacred Heart. Your safeguards, if I may say so, you know them, they have been countless over the years and transmitted in a privileged way by what you call the stars. The 12 stars of your head, the 12 spiritual functions, real and concrete, have entered into manifestation and incarnation. Clarity and precision will become your daily lot. The antagonism of good and evil, attraction and repulsion will no longer mean anything to you. You will be more and more constant, aligned within the present moment, watered at the Christic matrix, watered by the truth of love, who needs no vision, who needs no energy, if not to be yourselves the manifestation of this love, in every look, in every word and in every silence. Thus is the gift of grace, and so you will find that the authentic light in its intelligence can make no difference between what you would call a murderer or a traitor and what you would call a saint. I remind you that this is a single entity, which is none other than yourself, having traveled all the paths of the dream of creation, having traveled all the dreams, here, as well as in the highest dimensions. What is above is what is below is what is above, in order to perform the miracle of unity, and also of the Absolute. All your encounters and during each apparent chance of your life, everything will be only a pretext to get closer and closer to the ineffable truth, and to the finality of your resurrection. At the beginning of July of your year, we will also launch our song towards the V'Ch'tel people and in particular the trees, which have served as your relay and anchor, in heaven and on earth. The peoples of nature are already informed, from everywhere on this earth, of your awakening, and of the experience that all this has in fact been elaborated, created and manifested, from your real being. Unity will no longer be an empty word, unity will not be a desirable becoming, but will become the real living experience for many of you, wherever you are on this planet. From the moment you are fully awakened, all the awakened will communicate together, in different ways, and not by the ordinary senses, but much more by the 12 spiritual potentials related to the complete activation of the radiation of your crown from the head, and its harmonization with the 24 rays of the fire of the Holy Heart coming from your heart of the heart. Synchronicities will abound, invisible signs and manifestations will become more and more constant, in the same way that you will see in your skies, not only the different fleets of the Intergalactic Confederation or the Galactic Fleet, but also what you have so far called the subtle and the invisible, will become more visible and more certain than your ordinary vision through your eyes. All this will contribute and already contributes for many of you to the unspeakable truth of the reunion of your being and your non-being, where everything is pure bliss, where no framework can limit you, where no experience can be desired or desired. You will no longer fear your own fears, you will no longer fear your own emotions, you will no longer fear what bothers you in your life, but you will really and concretely love them, as having been circumstances or agents of your own awakening. Forgiveness and the gift of grace will be imminent to you, will not depend there either any will a decision. It also means that grace and forgiveness will flow from you, it will become your true nature, whatever your feelings, whatever your perceptions. Do not be alarmed either by what some people on earth would like us to endure through our hunting, through their sonars. Remember, all this is only a game, all this is only a dream, all this is only a nightmare, and yet real life has always been present, and today it is revealed in its entirety, putting an end to all spectacle, to all suffering, but also to all questioning. From the moment you embrace us, you truly embrace yourself. You will no longer be able to do other than smile at each other, you will no longer be able to do other than smile at your own emotions, at your ultimate pains, at your ultimate conditioning. You can no longer be affected by the elementary or societal circumstances present in your living spaces. No one will soon be able to ignore both the presence of the Intergalactic Confederation of the Free Worlds and the presence of a process that your scientists call global extinction, but which is in fact only the return to real life, that hath beauty, that hath light, that hath beatitude, that do not depend on any setting. It will then be easy for you to position yourself, because the intelligence of light will avoid you having to choose, will avoid you having to hesitate, will avoid you having to try to understand, and will simply involve you in the need to be what you are. This is what will wake you up permanently, for those of you who are still sleeping. We also intervene in a privileged way, through the very young human bodies under 7 years of age, so that they communicate to you, in countless ways, through their drawings, their words, their smiles, through their very presentation, the joy of life, the joy of truth and the joy of eternity. You will not be able to ignore it, whatever your media say, whatever your information says, which will obviously insist on the dark and apparent aspects of this revelation. But you will know in you, by living it, that the truth is present, that the truth is there, and that it awaits only you. You will leave the dream, you will leave habits in an increasingly lucid way, in an increasingly firm way, and in an increasingly intense way. At some point, which no one can date, you will see that joy has taken almost everything, that there is no obligation on this world, which until now has held, which can still hold. You will indeed no longer be bound by anything, and you will have effectively become life, the way and the truth. Indeed, many of you could still go through painful phases today, despite the liberation you lived through. I spoke about it a few minutes ago. Remember that all this is only a pretext to make yourself completely free. Remember that all these events, whatever they are, collective or individual, are there only to seize you through the shock of consciousness, and make you live that you are anterior to consciousness, in the same way that you are anterior to creation. This is the only true beatitude, the one that will never pass and that will not depend on any history, any memory, or any projection, in any setting, or in any dimension. The fire will grow in you. Some effects of this fire of the ether may indeed cause, as you will see, unexpected and impromptu processes, sometimes painful, that make you wonder about the meaning of these bodily manifestations. Do not seek any cause other than the revelation of light. You will notice that there too, if you accept to welcome and cross without question, there will then be sedation, there will then be lightness, there will then be an ineffable joy. You will then see the uselessness of any internal or external questioning, you will be filled with grace, you will be filled with the evidence of the truth. You will no longer be able to doubt, not only what is happening on your race scale, but also who you really are, beyond any form and beyond any world. Many things are changing, transforming, even disappearing in your lives, at this very moment. There is no such thing as a process of punishment, nor any process that can compel you, but, I repeat, that will simply liberate you a little more every day, as soon as you accept it. Thus will work the intelligence of light within the zero time, which you carry and live in the heart of the heart. The manifestations of fire, whether vital fire, vibrational fire or igneous fire, will always have as their conclusion an effectiveness, to free you from the last habits, the last behaviors, without needing to elucidate them at the mental or causal level. Everything is realized and played out in truth in the eternal present. The solution, like all the answers, can only come from within your heart of the heart, which reaches, in an increasingly palpable way, zero time, that of the truth of naked love, that of your eternity and that of the unspeakable. You will no longer be able in any way to curb the love that you are. You can only manifest it, you can only open your arms and your heart, in front of any brother or sister who will come before you. You can only love even the murderer and even the executioner, whatever happens on earth or in your life, for you will know that the other, by living it, is nothing other than yourself, is nothing other than yourself who awakens yourself. This is the grace of light, this is the grace of his intelligence, and this is the beauty of agate love. The fire of the Sacred Heart is called to become more and more intense, for the human people as well as for the vegetable people, for the animal people as well as for the water people, but also for the angels and archangels, and also for all the fleets of the different worlds and dimensions. Every day it will appear to you, suddenly or gradually, but with ever greater intensity. Even if there is no feeling in you, you will find that natural state, that perfect balance, whatever the imbalance in your lives, and which will put an end to that imbalance simply by acceptance. You will then radiate this igneous fire emanating from your whole body, emanating from your sacred heart, transmuting, dissolving the ultimate veils, not only for you, but on all the mechanisms of human society, but also as you will experience it within nature, as well as within the most terrible elementary activities. You will no longer be panicked by the elements, you will no longer be disturbed by any memories or emotions whatsoever, for you'll always have both sides, love or suffering, and this will become more and more evident, and it will then become easier to see and verify that you have no other choice than to be the love that you are. So we, the people of water, give you thanks by celebrating this apotheosis around you, by celebrating around you, and through the primordial ether, the good news. That's all there was to disclose, this good news. You are love, regardless of any circumstance, regardless of any role or character you have played on the surface of this world. You will indeed become lighter and lighter, in every sense of the word, that it concerns your body, that it concerns your sufferings, that it concerns your mind. Things will appear to you in a direct way, beyond any vision, beyond any feeling, as an evident fact that is self-evident in you and that does not suffer any discussion, and that does not need any verification. This will undeniably help you to establish yourself every day that will pass in the fluidity of the present moment and zero time. You will discover magnificence, you will live the total completeness, you will live the permanent smile, and you will be able to see the effects, not only in you or around you, but really and concretely, on the whole planet, whatever the reactions may be, linked to suffering, fear or deprivation, whether it concerns individuals, social groups, countries, nations of the whole earth, can no longer hurt you and can no longer destabilize you, for you will be established, with ever greater firmness, in the natural state of the absolute I. Nor is there any particular preparation to be made, except to try to find, as I said in my last speech, moments near the water, moments near nature, without asking for anything and without waiting, and you will then see the immediate return of a smile and lightness. This is how you will affirm yourself and confirm yourself. You are the pure light of truth, you are anterior to the light, you are the source of love, and you are love, whatever your character may say, whatever this world may tell you. You will never again be fooled by any vision, you will never again be fooled by what you call the societal system, you will never again be fooled by business or family stories. Freedom will therefore, as you have understood, become more and more obvious. It will accompany this lightness, this rediscovery of yourselves, and it is in this good news of the zero-lit time, that you do your part in this work of resolution, simply being present, simply being there, simply not judging anything, simply going through everything. You will discover, if you have not already done so, that only the embrace of your life, like the embrace of each brother and each enemy, with the same intensity in your hearts, whether it is at a distance, whether it is carnal, there will be no difference, because you will also notice that even this notion of distance is just as illusory as the time that is passing and the space that has been deployed. In the fire that your bodies will experience, freshness and lightness will result. In the igneous fire that will manifest itself from the breast of countless brothers and sisters, present on the surface of this earth as humans, will be effective beyond all expectations and beyond all attention. You simply have to be there, wherever you are. You just have to be present, where you are present, without asking for anything and without waiting, and you will only be able to see the magic of agape, the magic of Phahame. Therefore, do not be alarmed by any circumstances of this world, nor by any circumstances of your life, for it is precisely these circumstances that allow you to live life, and that put an end to the simulacrum of the ephemeral, and to the simulacra of the dream of creation. You will discover that love does not need form, that what you are does not need a world, that what you are does not need a future, because everything has already been lived, indeed, from the initial moment of the dream of creation. Remember also that we will support you with our rounds and songs, and that you too can support each other, by opening your arms, opening your heart and giving no credit to the questions in your head or the questions in your feelings. Truth is naked, it is neither nor vibration, it is not expansion of consciousness, but much more, indeed, total erasure of consciousness. There will only remain the person, inscribed in the eternal I, who will then express this every day, in an ever clearer way, where there will be no need to believe you, where you will not need to make anyone adhere, but simply to discover that you are living absolutely all of them, as soon as you are on the way to awakening, the same process and the same truth. Our song, the Cetacean People, will be blatantly amplified for each of you, from the 2nd day of July, and will be reinforced in a second time, in this month of July, from the 18th day of July. In this period of more than 2 weeks of your earthly time and of our time, you will notice that countless upheavals will occur, in your lives as well as in society, and you will also notice that, precisely, thanks to or because of these upheavals, you will be lighter and lighter, more and more confirmed in the truth of your true being, beyond being and beyond non-being. The magic of love will work at every moment, without any intention on your part, simply by your presence, simply by your radiance. Things will therefore become, despite the apparent complexity of this world, easier and easier for all those who, through you, human people, will accept the gift of grace in its entirety, the gift of light in its entirety. Silence. Beloved human people, I will now address each of you, in the silence of your hearts, as in the silence of my heart, the same quality, I would say, of the call of zero time, where the simulacrum and the sacred represent only the two sides of the same coin or object. All this is filled with laughter, whatever your tears, all this is filled with evidence, whatever your final questions. It is now time, on behalf of the water people, and at this instant, and at this time, to start the process that I have just described at length, at this instant for you who are present, and as soon as my words are published. Agape, agape, agape. Phahame, Phahame, Phahame. Silence. Premiska Anoha, Anoha Miskaya, Anahata Ebert, Anahata Phahame. Silence. Amachi Adam, Noha, a Townsmarkai. Silence. I am Phahame, and I act on this precise day and at this precise hour the ultimate unveiling, for each one who embraces it, through each one who already lives it. Anahata Eba. Silence. Phahame seals in your heart these words of freedom and truth. You are the good news, you are the ones you expected, you are at the origin and end of the dream, in your humanity, in this form and this body, in this present instant. In the name of the water people, in the name of the guardians of the dream, may love, peace and joy be your eternal abode, whatever your days may be to cross. In the love of the one, in the heart of the one, in the heart of each one, Phahame greets and honors you. Through Jean-Luc AYOUN. Les Transformations. English translation. LMF.